Hello, Scrappy Peep, Suzanna here today, and I am sharing a paper person project with you created using the September kit. This is my second project, so that's the left-hand page, which is a pocket page, and then the right-hand page of the spread is actually a 9 by 12 page with a large photo. So I don't frequently create pocket pages, and when I do, it's more of an event than a weekly spread. And so I have a lot of photos of us apple picking. And so I wanted to incorporate a few more pictures, and I thought that maybe I would get better use out of this particular kit with all of the pocket cards if I were to actually use them as pocket cards. I get afraid to cut into the paper because I think I want to use the 12 by 12 side, and then I can always print the pocket cards. But the problem is I never use the 12 by 12 paper. So I've decided I'm going to give this a shot and see how it goes. So you can see I cut the 12 by 12 paper so that I have the binder paper on the left hand side, and I like that, but it needs a shot of color through there, so I'm just going to rip some sort of rusty red cardstock. It matches the apples. That is from my stash. And I really like the way that that pops everything. It's great how it pops the trees. So that large photo is of my husband and my daughter standing with their apple box by one of the apple trees. The fog, you guys, was absolutely amazing. And so normally when you have your apple picking pictures, you have these lovely blue skies. We had these amazing foggy backgrounds. It was surreal. It was eerie in a way. So that photo there is a 3 by 4 that's slightly trimmed down, and that is a map of where we could go in the orchard and what was available for picking. And so I put that with one of the 3 by 4 cards. So what I did do off camera, so this is more of a hybrid layout in a way, is I printed a couple of those apples that are in one of the 3 by 4 cards. I sized it in Photoshop at 3 different sizes, and then I just fussy cut around them. And that card that you see underneath the photo of the 3 of us is actually a 4 by 6 that I shrunk down to, or actually it is a 3 by, I can't remember what size it is, but that's a digital print that I printed and I shrunk it down myself. And then that black and white card that I'm fussing around with there is from last month's kit, the black and white kit that I really struggled with. So that card that I'm holding at the top left there says autumn. It's hard for you to see that, but I did pull out some stash as well as I was creating this layout. And so that top left, I really want that to be the title of the layout there, but I also thought that that's where I would house my journaling. So you can see I filled a lot of the pockets with photos, but I haven't left myself a lot of space for journaling. And lately I found that I have been much more verbose. There's a lot more that I would like to say. I'd like to do more storytelling. And so you're going to see me pull out a whole bunch of product trying to figure out how I'm going to get this story told and leave myself enough space to tell the story. Now, worst comes to worst, I can always journal on the back of that large 9 by 12 photo, but I really want, especially with the pockets, for the story to be visible. So those are labels from an older kit. Those are stamps from an older kit. I am not a frequent pocket card designer, so you'll see that I struggle with a couple of these pockets. I'm going to pop that apple up on foam and just give that a little bit of dimension, which in the pocket pages you can't really tell, but it is definitely got just a little bit of dimension to that, and that's going to fill that gap nicely. I intended to have that there because I knew that the apple was going to go there. So for the most part, that is the right hand page complete. Now I have to finish this left hand page. So that the pocket that I'm working on now, that middle left-hand pocket, I really liked not having anything all the way around, but not knowing what I was going to put on the other side, I felt like I needed to put something behind that smaller photo there. And so I have from my stash, it's basically a brown paper bag, but it's pocket size, only it's not pocket size. It was slightly bigger. It's from Recollections. And so I'm just going to trim it down so that it fits in the pocket. And then it's kind of like the apple bag. So we bought a bushel of apples, but if you um, didn't buy a bushel, I think it was a large bag. It was a brown paper bag that you were to carry your apples around in. And so to me, that just sort of represented the brown paper bag. And I liked the way that the brown went with that really red dirt that you can see in the large photo of my daughter and my husband there. So that is going to complete that pocket. And now and I know I want to put one of the apples off to the side there. And that is going to go outside of the pocket because you can see how it overlaps the pocket there. So I'm using one of the stamps that actually came with this kit this month, and it's got a heart, and so love when we're here together, and I stamped directly on the photo there. I've been trying to use my stamps more directly on photos. Pardon me. So now what I'm doing here is I'm just going to put, so this is again from a label from an old kit, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of that photo of my husband carrying his box. One of the things I struggle with the PaperPerson kits is there just aren't enough embellishments for me. I am primarily a scrapbooker, a page maker, and I am not primarily a pocket creator. And uh, even the pockets that I've seen, I find that people use more embellishments than what these kits tend to come with. So I definitely have to supplement the kits and or create more hybrid pages by taking some of the things that are in the printable cards, which is why I love that we get the cards, because I can create more of my own embellishments. Usually with stamping, I can create embellishments, but there are so many phrases, and I don't like too many words on my layouts, especially if I have pictures like the one on the left that says apple picking this way. I don't need additional phrases. And so well, part of what I really need is embellishments. And so that's where having the apples to be able to print came in handy. So I've got everything situated where I want to. Now I need to figure out this top left-hand card here. So left over from the cardstock that I used on the right-hand side that I ripped, I thought, oh, well, that's a really nice border. But the way that I had already cut it, I was like, well, I don't want to write on top of that all of the leaves because that would be really hard to read. So if I created a flap that flipped up in the pocket, that would be perfect. Ah, vellum. That'll give me a perfect place to write, and you'll still be able to see the texture underneath. And I liked the way that the vellum softened those leaves and gave you that same look that standing in the fog um, on the mountain was too. So it gives you that same feel as the feeling of the day or of the morning. It was a Sunday morning. So the vellum was. I didn't catch that. Could you try again? Go away, Siri. Sorry about that. Siri turned herself on. So that was a perfect way to recreate that effect of the fog. Because of the pockets, I don't want too many layers there. I know there's going to have to be a picture behind it at some point, and so I trimmed off the excess of what I didn't need. You do get with these kits these super awesome word phrases, and so next to the apple I put feeling, and then it says parentheses a little bit, close parentheses, normal, and then the one down the bottom it says feeling like fall. So this is one of the 4x6 cards, and again I'm going to create my own embellishment by fussy cutting some of the leaves out. And I am going to cut one out, but I will actually cut a second one out that will go on another card that you are not going to see off camera. I actually did record it, but my battery died and I was not aware of the fact that my battery died and it was no longer recording. So you'll see me, that white to the left there are large white number stickers. They also came with the kit, and I'm going to use those. I love the way that this label makes that shot of that apple candy red look almost like a bookend. And so I thought that my plan as I was sticking that there was that I would house the date there. So I'm going back to the numbers, and it's very non-original of me, but I'm just going to put in 2021. I don't know what else one would do with such huge numbers. I mean, I guess I could have put number of apples picked, but we didn't count them. I could have put miles driven, yeah, those sorts of things, but they're really irrelevant to the story. Whereas we do, for the most part, go apple picking every year, and so I guess 2021 was reflective of that. That's what this is, as opposed to any other year. So I have a few more of these stickers that I want to sort of scatter throughout the page. That top left there says hello there, and that is going to finish out that right hand page. I am going to journal continued story in that green card that says local love. So now I have this pocket in the middle right there with the fall leaves and the apple. What I don't like is that A, it's kind of boring, and B, the apples in a row like that. Yeah, I wanted to create a visual triangle with them, and so that I could connect both pages. And the way that they just kind of ran straight across, it was not going to work for me. So I'm going to play around with this card, and I'm going to try all sorts of varieties, and I decide I'm just going to go with white cardstock, and that will give me somewhere to be able to journal. Perfect solution, right? And then I have this really cool tone on tone, that orange on the apple red, sort of tone on tone, and that will make a really great border, which will work nicely with that vertical border that I have in that top left pocket there. I am off camera going to use one of the stamps. I believe it's from August, and it's a horizontal diagonal stamp, and I will stamp the border there, and I will also use one of those leaves that I referenced earlier that I fussy cut, and just to give a little bit more embellishment to that. Now that tag that I have in the top left, I used the date stamps again from the August kit to put the date, so it was October 10th, but the label is very shiny and the inks slid on the label, so I didn't like that. So I ended up having to cut the label, and you'll see how the label then is going to go, what's left of the label, horizontally with the date. And then I can move the apple and have something in the top left-hand corner there. And so while those two apples are pretty much virtually stacked with that space in between, you still do get a visual triangle. Now, the other thing that I did not keep in mind as I was creating is that the pocket page, you can see the binder holes are on the left-hand side. And so if I reversed it, and remember that I've already stuck that apple down on the outside. So yes, I could have used another page, but rather than doing that, my large photo now ends up being on the left-hand side, which looks fine, and it actually looks better with my visual triangle of those apples. And you will see that you will not see that in the close-ups, because I did not realize what I had done until after I had taken the close-ups and went to go and put this in the binder. So that wraps up my second project using the September PaperPerson kit. Be sure to head over to Sarah Scraps' channel and see what it is that she has created to share with you this month. Enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.